Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillia, and what an episode we have today. In this video I'll be talking about episode 2 of the Tower of God. And in this episode wasn't actually good for its fighting, although it was pretty good. I will admit that, the fighting was nice to see. Nope, more so the things that are said in this episode that make me kind of think and make me go, hold on a minute, is there a connection from that line to this line? Is this character somehow knowing something that we don't? And honestly, we've only had 2 episodes, and I love a series that does this early on. It gets me thinking, gets me involved, makes me kind of work while I'm watching the episode. And honestly, I quite like doing that, and connecting the dots is always quite fun. So, first off, let's talk about the choreography in the way that the fightings were handled and the pairing of teams. So, we learn about 2 characters in the opening part about their names and their fighting styles. Those being Anak, the green lady with the green sword, and Hats, a character with 2 swords. And these 2 characters are terrifyingly strong, and their weapons and fighting styles are quite unique, as we have Hats, who uses a 2-sword style technique and can kind of fling her sword like a boomerang, so it kind of comes back round, knocking the opponent's weapons. I thought that was pretty cool. I haven't seen something like that for a while, and it was quite refreshing. And then we see Anak's weapon. She can make it like a sort of like a whip, almost like sort of snake-like motions and extending. I thought that was awesome. Plus, we have a very great line from Hats in this episode, which states, "Running is something you do from those who are stronger than you." And honestly, that was awesome. I can't wait to hear that line with like a kind of like a deep tone or maybe a slightly different tone. I haven't quite decided if I think Hats is a boy or a girl yet. I don't know. Looking at the character here, I can kind of see the character swinging both ways, but hopefully we get clarification on that soon. But sticking with these 2 characters, we get the team of Anak, Hats, and this guy who's in a tracksuit. I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but yes, they play his character up for comedy in this episode, but he does give me a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure vibe, and I think he will honestly get his moment to shine in the future, maybe saving both his teammates, because the best this guy can hope for, in my opinion, is maybe his teammates learning his name and remembering who it is, or who he is, because he does deserve some respect, and I think he'll get a chance to prove that later on in the show. But for now, he's a bit of comedy, and it was kind of welcomed, because the show has been quite serious so far, and having a bit of light humour is quite nice. And then we get to the other team, and I love the goofiness from this team, and the way in which the team formed, having to make sure you touch your teammates before the timer runs out, and just having Coon basically just jumping and latching on, and then Bam just runs along and latches on, and then Rax is just like, what, I wanted to fight. I thought he was a great character this episode. I thought Coon was a great character in this episode, who seems very mysterious. His character is quite strong in the sense that he's very smart and tactical minded. I like the way that he took out Rax by basically putting the cape over his eyes and sideswiping him underneath. I thought that was clever. I thought that was pretty cool. And it shows that he's more of a tactical fighter and someone who uses his brain a lot more and his skills and techniques to kind of get, brains over bronze. And that's something I quite like. I wish we can see more of that in the future, and I think we will. However, something that kind of piqued my interest in this episode about that character, he seems highly curious about the reasons for why Bam has Black March. However, if you combine that with what the Rancor said, it kind of makes me worried, because the Rancor is like, don't trust a Coon. Okay? Don't trust him. And it kind of makes me go, why? It raises that question. However, what was up with Coon's bag? I thought that maybe something was inside of it, but when I remembered the rules about the team formations in having to only have 3 people touching each other to basically qualify as a team, I thought that it couldn't be that, because the rules are kind of strict, and they have to be with so many admins and so many kind of regulations. So it can't possibly be another sort of like life form inside of his bag, from my opinion. So I think more so It's the fact that it's a tower sensing that something is not quite right with this character and is trying to reject this character from passing this trial. It's trying to reject the character of a Coon basically passing the trial and revoking his chosen status. Because the Rancor is like, only people that are chosen are able to withstand the power that this tower emits out from. So, only those who are chosen can pass through this gate easily. So, I would imagine that the tower has some level of influence of who it allows and who it doesn't allow. And maybe that's just a small hint at that happening. Who knows? But you're probably thinking, what is a Rancor? Well, a Rancor is someone who has climbed to the top of the tower already, and the one that we see in this episode was very interesting, to say the least. I like the powers of Shinsu that we see in this episode, which is said to be the source of the tower's power. And he uses that to create a wall of water, and he uses that to basically teach a guy a lesson, when this guy is basically trash talking because he can't get through, and is saying, "What? I can take you on any time." And he's like, "Yeah, cool story, bro." But the one thing that most intrigued me was the line that he says in this episode to Bam, and that is, "So, the monster has arrived." What does this mean? Well, I was somewhat right, I guess. Maybe Bam is someone or something that was purposely locked away, if that line is directed at Bam. Hence to why his memory is lost and that he is sealed. Maybe that's kind of something. So maybe yes, I was right. Maybe no, I'm not. Who knows? If you do, please don't put it in the comments. I like to kind of see it as it unravels. Or was the line referring to a Coon? Was he, because he warns Bam about not trusting him. So this must mean that something rather interesting is happening with this character. And bearing in mind, in the previous trial, everyone was trying to kill each other so that they can lower the numbers. Who was the only person that wanted to make allies? That's a Coon. And he was the only one who wanted to make allies, basically showing me that he's got a plan. He's got something in his mind sorted. But now it makes sense to kind of make an alliance within the tower, but it's not a good idea, as only one person can get to the top of the tower, meaning that teams are often pointless, as you have to kill or knock out your own allies. And, if you kind of know this already and you kind of think along this line, which Bam obviously doesn't, and if someone comes up to you and goes, "Hey, do you want to be on my team?" then obviously he's going to jump at it. But Bam's character only wants to be with Rachel. So him achieving and getting to the top of the tower isn't that big of a deal to him. So maybe that was a line of process that he was going with, but I still think it's rather fishy that he was trying to form an alliance nevertheless. Now lastly, Bam's character. So Bam's character in this episode, one thing that really worries me about Bam, and it's what happened when, it's what happens when he meets Rachel again. Will he abandon his own team? Probably not. Probably Rachel would join the team by some loophole. And if you remember that only one person can get to the top of the tower, would Bam kill or give up his own life to make sure Rachel's dream comes true? If Rachel wants to get to the top of the tower and see the stars, will he kill himself or will he kill other people to make sure Rachel's dream of seeing those stars come true? A part of me says yes, he would, because his character is very obsessed with the character of Rachel. Now, would she agree to that statement? Because the statement I'm referring to is the statement of Bam saying that he belongs to her. Now that is a very scary line when someone says, "Oh, I belong to this woman," or "I belong to this person." When you're in that kind of mindset and you believe that you belong to somebody else, that is not a good sign. That's a sign to state that you need some serious help from somebody. You're not quite there up in the head. You've got a few screws loose and you need to have a reality check. And Bam's character definitely needs that at the moment, but it makes sense for him to say that because he doesn't know anything. Everything that he knows belongs to Rachel. Everything that he is belongs to her as well. That's just his current mindset. Now, all of this about Bam's character just shows us, again, how unhealthy Bam's desire to be with Rachel really is. He could possibly kill someone for her, he could possibly kill himself for her, but either way, he'll do anything to get back with her. And honestly, that's kind of scary, and if you ever feel like that about someone, you really do need to look at yourself a bit better. Overall, I thought this episode was great. I had a lot of fun thinking about what different lines could mean or refer to, and the action was okay, but I'm glad that this wasn't like the main focus of the episode. I like episodes that are a bit more kind of plot heavy and a bit more kind of get the old noggin thinking. However, the fight scenes was a brilliant showcasing of two formidable characters that I reckon we're going to see a lot more of in the future, and I can't wait to see how Bam's team handles the team of Hats and the other two. The animation was nice, it was clean as well, everything looked pretty good in terms of the animation art style and quality, plus the sound effects were simple and easy to listen to. Nothing was outlandishly loud or obnoxious. The intro was amazing, I loved the music for the intro, and I enjoyed the flow of the episode. And it was well structured to the point where it flowed nicely and it makes sense. All in all, I very much enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, I'm sure you'll enjoy it as well. Other than that, that's going to wrap up this review. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, hit that like button. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below on this episode. Do you think what I've said is right? Do you think differently? If so, let me know. Let's get a conversation going. Let's get some discussion down there. And I'd love to hear what you think. Apart from that, subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. And until next time, I hope you have an amazing day. And I'll catch you then. Arigato. Mata ne. Bye.